Class 10th, the chapter which we are going to do is the First World War under Contemporary World, lesson number 10. So, according to your syllabus, in this chapter we will study about the causes, and under causes also we will study about the nationalism and imperialism, then division of Europe and Sarajevo crisis, and results as well as the Treaty of Versailles. According to your new syllabus, only these topics we are going to study under this chapter. So, the first war or the first World War in 1914, you can say, a war began in Europe, and very soon it engulfed among the entire world, with the battles fought in Europe, Asia, Africa, and the Pacific. This war was different from the wars which was fought earlier in terms of its scale and in you can say worldwide scale, and it affected almost all the countries of the world. Why? The reason why it was different, because during this war new methods of defense and destructions were used. Moreover, in the earlier wars, the civilian populations were not generally involved, but in this war, the people they fought as a whole. Thus, the war marked the turning point in the history of the world due to its extents and its spread, its impact and damage, and its total nature. So, due to all these reasons, it was called the First World War. Now, what was the causes of the First World War? According to the causes, the first cause, it is a nationalism and imperialism. So, nationalism, it refers to the sense of unity felt by the people who share a common history, language, and culture. This we have the definition we have already done in our second chapter also, second chapter of history, where I gave you the definition of nationalism. Clear? So same definition it is. But in the latter half of the 19th century, the feeling of unity turned into extreme pride, which made the people of many countries believe that their country is superior to the other countries. And this led to the development of aggressive nationalism. Aggressive nationalism means that you meant that love for one's own country and hatred of other countries, that you want to do whatever you want to do, that you want to do for your country, and for that if you have to, if there will be a need to hurt other country or give harm to the another country, so you are willing to do that also. Clear? Now, each country thought of its own national interest and did not care for the interest of other countries, and they believe that our interest is more important than the another. So this is aggressive nationalism. Like, for example, certain examples are given there, that France wanted to get back its provinces. Similarly, Italy wanted to get back the territories, his territories, from others, and for these reasons they were ready to do anything. So this was the nationalism or aggressive nationalism. The next, it is the aggressive nationalism. It led to the rise of imperialism, a system by which a powerful nation used to establish its control over another country. The country which is more powerful, it will take all the weaker countries under him, either by political pressure or by annexation or by outright wars. So once conquered, these countries were claimed as a colony, and these colonies, they will work as a puppet in the hand of the powerful countries, and the powerful countries, they will get all the resources, they will exploit all the resources, and they will take all the resources from these colonies to their own countries, in the form of you can say raw material, cheap labor, agriculture land, trading ports, etc. So by the end of the 19th century, England and France has built up large colonial empire in Asia and Africa, and they were expanding their trade, and they were exploiting the resources of these colonies for their own benefit. So this was one of the cause nationalism and the imperialism that which gave rise to the First World War. Now the second cause, it is the rise of armament. This point, according to your syllabus, it is not there, but for your knowledge, just I'm going to explain it, that the mad race for armament means weapons. All the countries, all the powerful countries, they were running after making up of more and more powerful weapons, and they were stockpiling these armaments in the name of self-defense and preservation of peace. But that was not the reason. Now when these powerful countries, or many of the countries, they were making the powerful weapons, it filled the atmosphere with the fear, apprehension, and mutual hatred, that they were afraid, other countries, they were afraid that if they will be able to make these powerful weapons, so they will be left behind. So all the countries, all the powerful countries, in order to make more and more weapons, they were running after making up of the more and more weapons, stockpiling of these weapons. So though this point is not there in your syllabus, still I've given you some idea. The second point which is there in your syllabus, it is the division of the Europe into two hostile groups. Now what was these two hostile groups? The two hostile groups, you can say that these were single nation states, like France was there, Holland, Germany was there. Okay, they were having a common language, traditions, etc. And the another side, there was imperial states like Austria-Hungarian Empire, Russian Empire, etc. So we can say that Europe was divided into two parts. The first part, it is your Triple Alliance, okay, and Triple Entente. Now what was the Triple Alliance? Here you can see that Germany entered into an alliance with the Austria-Hungary, and later Italy joined it, and these joined together and they formed the Triple Alliance. And the other, you can say that this Turkish, the Russian Empire included territories populated by Polish, Ukrainian, Turkish, and Mongol population. The three countries entered into the Triple Entente, and later Japan joined them. So you can say that these Europe, it was divided into two groups. The first group, it is Triple Alliance. The another group, it is Triple Entente. So these the Europe, it divided into these two different groups. So next, it is your Sarajevo crisis, very important, and it is one of the immediate cause also of the First World War. Archduke, please underline, Archduke Francis. He was the heir to the throne of Austria-Hungary, but he was assassinated at Sarajevo, which was the capital of Bosnia. Now, when he came to Sarajevo, so there the assassination means murdered. It was organized by a secret society called Black Hand, or Union of Death, you can say, can underline. So when he came here, you can see the picture, he came with his wife, and here he was killed. So this was the group of the people, Siberian Black Hand or Union of Death, and they were the Siberian nationalists, those who want to unite all the Siberians into a single Siberian state. Okay, so when he came here, he was killed. And when Austria, they came to know about this, so they served an ultimatum on Siberia. They held Siberia responsible for that. So their 11 demands was made by Austria. Siberia accepted almost all the demands, but they were not ready to give themselves in the hand of the Australian. So therefore, Austria, they declared war on Siberia, and though they declared war on Siberia, Russia, they entered into the war to support Siberia, whereas Germany declared war on Russia and on Russia and on France. Then German troops, they marched into Belgium and to press on to France, and the same day Britain declared war on Germany. Now see the way one country came to help for the other it attacked on the one country. So due to all these countries, they involved themselves into the war from this side or from the other side. So this was the main cause, main immediate cause. Now events of the war, they are not in your syllabus. So the next which we are going to do, it is the results of the wars. Now results of the wars, the one, it is the Treaty of Versailles. So the countries, those who came as a powerful countries, they met in one of the conference in Versailles, and though the number of countries represented at the conference was 27, so the term of the peace treaties was really decided by Woodrow Wilson. You can underline, he was the president of United States. So the defeated countries were not represented at the conferences, and so as a result of these decisions which was taken there, so a treaty came into existence which was known as the Treaty of Versailles, and with the signing of the Treaty of Versailles, it ended the war. Now according to the Treaty of Versailles, there was a certain terms which was made by the Treaty of Versailles. The first one, the treaty declared Germany guilty of aggression, means they held Germany responsible for the First World War. So they felt that due to Germany, the war, First World War, it took place. So next it is the Germany was required to pay for the loans and damages which was suffered by the alliances, and it was the amount which was asked was $33 billion, which Germany is going to pay as a compensation. The next, the area of the Rhine valleys, they were demilitarized. Rhine Valley, it was occupied by the German army, so it was demilitarized, and the German territory west of Rhine was to be occupied by the other countries for 15 years as a compensation. Then Germany lost Alsace-Lorraine to France. Then this Ypres-Malry to Belgium, Schleswig to Denmark. Danzig became a free port. Earlier it was in the hand of the Germany. Now it will be free for everyone to do the trade. Then Germany was asked to give the parts of Denmark, some of the parts of her pre-war territories also to Denmark, Belgium, Poland, Czechoslovakia and France. Then the coal mines, these were called the Sark valleys, which was given to France for 15 years. Then Germany lost all her colonies to the Britain, Belgium, South Africa and Portuguese. So these were you can say some of more terms are there. The German colonies in the Pacific and the areas under her control in China were given to Japan. China was allied with the Allies during the war, but her area under German control were given away to Japan. Now the German army was restricted to 1 lakh soldiers. Please underline, you can take out 3 points from here. Navy was limited to 15,000 men and 24 ships. The air force and submarines were banned. Then treaty affirmed the complete independence of Belgium, Poland, Czechoslovakia and Yugoslavia. These became, or they were all free. And then the covenant of the League of the Nation, it came into existence. So these were some of the terms, because Treaty of Versailles, when it was made, so these terms, they came into existence. So according to your syllabus, we are going to do only these points from this chapter. Now, whatever the points we have done, please go through those points, and if any problem will be there, you can ask me, and you can mark the question answers of this chapter according to the topics which we have done.